Hey everybody, Michael Snyder here, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is April 28th, and right now we are looking at the lower level water vapor loop. Check out the thermal trough coming up the coastline of North America as we speak here. Big ridge of high pressure is going to keep things nice and warm for the next couple of days at least. We'll take a look at this next trough though. You can see it absorbing that cutoff low, and this will be moving towards Pacific Northwest, eventually drop down across California, leaving the Pacific Northwest in kind of a defluent southeast flow. We're going to build some convective available potential energy, some CAPE. Thunderstorm potential will exist on in through next week. We'll take a look at those details here in a moment. This is SeaTac. Look at 68 degrees yesterday, 6 degrees above average. We're going to warm up even more. We could be almost 10 degrees warmer today, and we could be challenging the all-time daily record high set back in 1968. And we're going to do it again as we go on into Saturday. Then we're going to have a bit of a cool down as we go through Sunday. We'll show some of those details on that here in a moment. National Weather Service Spokane talking about that thunderstorm threat now finally as we go on in through next week, Monday through Wednesday, and potentially even on into Thursday and Friday. We'll watch that as we go day by day. Special avalanche bulletin across really all the higher terrain of the Pacific Northwest. The risk of wet snow avalanches does exist with the warm up here and the pretty good snowpack in place. Again, another graphic here from the National Weather Service Spokane kind of highlighting that avalanche bulletin. This is the temperature outlook. Check this out as we go through Sunday here. Pretty warm eastern Washington again on Sunday. Then we start to cool down a bit as that trough gets close to our region here. And these temperatures are going to be quite variable with that thunderstorm potential. Some of the clouds around the area, some thunderstorms will bound to keep a lot of these temperatures variable as we go through the week. And this is for southwest Oregon here, Medford. Look at this. Medford up towards 94, Klamath Falls 85 here. This is for Friday. Roseburg 81, nice and chilly, relatively speaking, along the coastline. I shouldn't say chilly because upper 60s is still pretty warm compared to what we have been having here across the area. But look at even Mount Shasta City 86, Siskiyou Summit at 80 degrees. Very nice temperatures coming up here today. This is looking at the upper levels of the atmosphere. We're looking at the northern hemisphere here. And if you kind of look at these lobes hanging down, there's what's known as Rossby waves. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 Rossby waves going on. You can see the big ridge here over at the Pacific Northwest. There's the Hawaiian Islands. You can see Japan way over here. You can see Asia and Africa there. So if you put it into motion, you kind of get a good idea of the general circulation of the planet. You can see the next trough headed towards Pacific Northwest here, and you can kind of see that negative tilt that's going to be impacting the Pacific Northwest, bringing us our thunderstorm chance as we go on in through next week. Big chilly trough setting up over California here. It's going to cool them down quite a bit as well. This is looking at the troposphere. So what I just showed you was about where the tropopause is, and the troposphere is where most of our weather occurs. You can see where the stratosphere is, stratopause, and mesosphere as well. So just giving you kind of a cross section there on the layers of the atmosphere. This is looking at mean sea level pressure here. Put it into motion, and you can see the thermal trough moving up the coastline here as we go through the day today. One more warm day on Saturday before that thermal trough kind of pushes off to the east of the Cascades, and we get a bit of a marine push west of the mountain range. But another warm day Sunday across eastern Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Montana, some areas of BC. Then the trough really sets up shop here over California, and you can see the pressure falls as we go on into early next week. Now, taking a look here, this is 925 millibars, 2,500 feet. Look at that thermal trough really move up all the way across from the coast of western BC by the time we get into Saturday morning. One more warm day, and then you can see the cooler air start to arrive as we go on into the day Sunday. And again, another warm day east of the Cascades. Looking at convective available potential energy, known as CAPE here. Now, we put this into motion, and we'll speed ahead, and you can see some of this start to build here as we go through Monday afternoon across the region. You can see some of that CAPE moving out even west of the Cascades a bit here. And we're going to do that again Tuesday and on into Wednesday here. So we've got multiple rounds of thunderstorm potential possible as we go on in through the week coming up. And this is bound to change. These systems are very fickle, and where these thunderstorms set up is very difficult to predict with any kind of advance notice other than just that we have the general threat around the area coming up. This is looking at lightning flash density potential. This is yesterday afternoon's European, and we're going to speed all the way ahead towards Sunday here, and you can see that potential start to exist a bit here as we go through Sunday afternoon. Then again on Monday here, Monday morning, you can see some interesting signals there showing up in the east slopes of the Cascades up towards Lake Chelan. We go through Tuesday, and you can see the thunderstorm potential, and kind of the general motion here will be out of the east. It'll be coming off the mountains here, potentially on into western Oregon and Washington at times. And this would be Wednesday here, eastern Washington. You can see another little complex moving up as we go through Thursday morning. So definitely some active, interesting weather to watch as we go through next week. So here we're taking a look at the winds at 10,000 feet. I just wanted to give you a visual representation of what's coming with the trough. You can see it moving towards the coast of Washington, Oregon here, and it's going to sag south and leaving us in this defluent flow aloft, the southeasterly flow across the region, and that's what's going to allow that potential energy to build here for some thunderstorms as we go on in through next week. Now looking here, this is Spokane. This is convective available potential energy as well, and you can kind of see it building as we go through midweek coming up here. A lot of the ensemble runs agree that we'll be dealing with some pretty good instability there, especially east of the Cascades, but you can't rule out thunderstorms west of the Cascades as well in that southeasterly flow. This is looking at thermodynamic profile of some of the soundings I admittedly cherry-picked here across eastern Washington, Oregon, but there is a lot of instability in some of these model runs here coming up, and you can even see maybe a severe thunderstorm can't be ruled out here as we go through the week coming up here. So definitely noteworthy, kind of unusual here across Pacific Northwest. This is looking at Seattle, Tacoma. Again, the record high for today is 76, so we could break that, headed towards the upper 70s probably for Seattle. Again, another very warm day tomorrow before we cool back down towards normal here Sunday, Monday. So it's not going to be too bad here. I mean, this is a lot better than what we have been dealing with, and then maybe a bit of a bounce back here as we go through Tuesday, Wednesday coming up. So these are going to be nice, comfortable temperatures here across the Seattle metro. Here's Portland. I mean, you're getting downright hot today. You could be headed for the upper 80s here for a lot of the metro area. And then Saturday, another very warm day. Before that, cool down to some much more comfortable temperatures. Brookings, Oregon, not dealing with the heat right now. A few days ago, they were getting some pretty warm temperatures, but they're getting a bit of an onshore flow at this point. And then the trough's going to settle down the coast there and continue to cool them down as we go on in through the week coming up. Rogue Valley, Medford, look at this, up into the mid-90s again with another warm day on Saturday, and then some much more comfortable temperatures as we go through next week. Boise is going to remain hot probably at least through midweek coming up here before a bit of a cool down potentially as we go towards the end of next week. Seattle, Tacoma, just kind of showing you the run-to-run variability in some of these precipitation totals. It's going to be highly variable with the thunderstorms moving off the Cascades here. It's going to be hit and miss. So you can kind of see this now picking up on some precip that it wasn't earlier and then backing off and other time frames there. So just a heads up that this is going to be extremely variable across the region with these thunderstorms coming up. You can see Paradise kind of going through the same thing here, backing off some areas and picking up in some others. This is Yakima, even showed, well, look at that 3,700ths of an inch of rain here, probably associated with the thunderstorm there, and that would be on in through Monday night into Tuesday morning there, maybe Tuesday afternoon. Now looking at 24-hour precipitation totals, this is yesterday afternoon's European run, I should say. Put it into motion, you see a little bit of precip showed up here across some of western Washington Sunday afternoon. Keep that into motion. You see the south and then eventually southeast flow across the region here with multiple rounds of precipitation moving across the area here. Could have some thunderstorms with them across the Pacific Northwest, and then a trough sets up off the coastline there, but we're about 10 days out there, so you got to take that with a grain of salt here. Don't put too much stock into that just yet. 2-meter temperature anomaly, kind of showing you just how warm we're getting today across the entire Pacific Northwest. Again, Saturday and then Sunday, you can see those warm temperatures kind of stay east of the Cascades, but we don't cool down that much. It's still going to be pretty comfortable here. Some nice temperatures can be had across western Washington, southwest BC, even maybe there's still a few degrees above average. As that trough starts to settle down the coastline, though, you notice western Oregon, northern California is starting to cool off a bit. And then as we continue on a little bit more, we're going to have that trough down over California and warmer temperatures, perhaps, as we go across some of the Pacific Northwest towards the next week. A lot of variability, though, because these thunderstorms moving around, a lot of cloud cover as well, is going to keep these temperatures quite variable across the region. This is a 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. You can kind of see the troughing that's going to exist over California versus potential warmer temperatures here across some of the Pacific Northwest. 6 to 10 day precipitation probability outlook here, above average signal still. This is looking at some flood watches and advisories, a couple flood warnings, but for the most part, this is snow melt, and we're not expecting extreme flooding from this. As you can see, some of these river rises going into the action, maybe minor flooding at most stages really showing up here. So not too big of a deal. Just be aware that these waterways are running colder and faster than normal. And you can see these rising streams are due to snowmelt. So yeah, we got thermal trough here. Enjoy these couple days. If you like the warm weather, then we're going to cool it back down a bit here west of the Cascades. But this trough is going to bring some very active weather next week here. So this is the fun stuff here. If you like thunderstorms, we might actually get some on into western Washington, Oregon, southwest BC. Can't rule it out really anywhere across the Pacific Northwest. So fun stuff coming here. And this is that weather maker out there, that trough that's going to eventually set up over California and try to pump some of those thunderstorms back into the Pacific Northwest. So anyway, yeah, hope you guys are having a good day. Click like and subscribe. If you want to help support the channel, click that join button down below. And if you want one of those home weather stations that I've been talking about for, seems like for weeks now, click on the link down below to save 10% on that. So anyway, I will talk to you guys tomorrow. We'll do this again, and I hope you guys are having a good day.